Who was the largest tribe in Israel? This is the question that we seek to answer today as we continue our verse-by-verse study of the book of Numbers on Walking Through the Bible. If you have a Bible with you, turn to Numbers chapter 1. We're going to be reading from verses 17 to 27. If you don't have a Bible, don't worry. Just follow along with us on the screen. The version that we'll be reading from is the New King James Version. So, Numbers chapter 1, beginning at verse 17. Then Moses and Aaron took these men who had been mentioned by name, and they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month. And they recited their ancestry by families, by their fathers' houses, according to the number of names, from 20 years old and above, each one individually. As the Lord commanded Moses, so he numbered them in the wilderness of Sinai. Now the children of Reuben, Israel's oldest son, their genealogies by their families, by their father's house, according to the number of names, every male individually from 20 years old and above, all who were able to go to war, those who were numbered of the tribe of Reuben were 46,500. From the children of Simeon, their genealogies by their families, by their father's house, of those who were numbered, according to the number of names, every male individually, from 20 years old and above, all who were able to go to war, those who were numbered of the tribe of Simeon were 59,300. From the children of Gad, their genealogies by their families, by their father's house, according to the number of names from 20 years old and above, all who were able to go to war, those who were numbered of the tribe of Gad were 45,650. From the children of Judah, their genealogies by their families, by their father's house, according to the number of names from 20 years old and above, all who were able to go to war, those who were numbered of the tribe of Judah were 74,600. In our last lesson, we began our verse-by-verse study of the book of Numbers. We noted that we're still at Mount Sinai, though a full year and a month has passed since the children of Israel left Egypt. The tabernacle has thus been built, and the second Passover has been observed, although Numbers will flash us back to that point in time and tell us of that observance. The reason that this book is referred to as the book of Numbers is because of what God told Israel to do next, which is to take a census. Knowing which tribe one was from was going to be important upon arrival in the promised land, for the land would be divided by tribe and by family. So if you didn't know which tribe you were from, you wouldn't be able to know which land you were going to be given. The way Moses and Aaron would conduct the census was they selected a leader from each tribe to report the numbers from their tribe. This census, though, was not a census of everybody. It was only a census of the males who were old enough to go to war, which was men over the age of 20. And that's the point that needs to be remembered. God was not being sexist by excluding women from society. He was taking account of all who were able to go to war, and thus women and children were excluded from the count. Coming to verse 17 now, on the first day of the second month, the census was taken. As we go through the families, we're going to notice that the order of the tribes are not in genealogical order. In other words, the order of each tribe's birth to Jacob, but in some other seemingly jumbled order. However, in Numbers 2, we're going to find that each tribe was encamped around the tabernacle in a certain order. They weren't all just mixed together disorderly. It is thus going to be this order that the tribes give their numbers in. Moses starts with the tribe of Reuben, who is Jacob's firstborn. Eleazar, the son of Shedeur, the man, according to verse 5, that was selected to report from the tribe of Reuben, stated that there were 46,500 men over the age of 20 able to go to war. Of course, that meant that there were many more than that if women and children were included. I'd like us to notice two things from this number. First, you might expect that Reuben, being the oldest of the sons of Jacob, might have been blessed by God with becoming the largest tribe. However, from our study of Genesis, we know that Reuben slept with Jacob's concubine, Bilhah, and because of that, Jacob removed his birthright from him. Reuben was not dispossessed. However, God seemingly didn't bless his tribe with many children, as he did some of the other tribes. The other thing I'd like us to notice from this number is that even though it is smaller than some of the other tribes, it is still quite large. The reason I bring this up is that according to Exodus 6, when it comes to the genealogy of Moses, A cursory reading puts Moses in the 4th generation after Levi, with Levi being the 1st generation and Moses being the 4th. We noted there that if there are no missing names in those genealogies, then each of the known great-grandsons of Levi would have had to have about 860 males each in order to get to the number that we'll soon read for Levi. However, if you add just 3 generations, that number reduces to about 9 males, a much more reasonable number. The same could be said for the other tribes in Israel as well. Thus, there are likely missing names in some of the genealogical tables in the Old Testament, with the 4 main generations likely given in Exodus 6 because God said in Genesis 15:16 that Israel would come out of Egypt in the 4th generation. It's not that Moses was lying to us, it's that they counted generations differently than we do. They were longer, and they keep genealogies different than we do. Next up was the tribe of Simeon. Numbers 1 verse 6 says that Shelumil, the son of Jershaddai, would report the numbers, and he stated there were 59,300 men over 20 able to go to war. This number was larger than Reuben's. From there we move on to the tribe of Gad. Numbers 1:14 says that Eliasaph, the son of Deuel, would report the numbers, and he stated that there were 45,650 men over the age of 20 able to go to war. And then we conclude this lesson with Judah. Numbers 1 verse 7 said that Nahshon, the son of Amminadab, would report the numbers, and he stated that there were 74,600 men over the age of 20 able to go to war. As we examine the rest of the numbers, we're going to find that this tribe was the largest in Israel, which again would follow, because Jacob blessed Judah with being the kingly tribe, and eventually we'll find out that this would be the tribe that the Messiah would come through. We'll continue with the numbering, the Lord willing, in the next lesson. With that, our time is up for today. The Lord willing, we hope you'll join us for tomorrow's discussion of Numbers chapter 1, verses 28 to 39, as we continue our walk through the Bible, one verse at a time. Thank you for watching today's episode. We hope that you found it edifying and ask that you not only subscribe to our channel and podcast, but that you like and share this episode among your friends, so that the saving gospel of Jesus Christ can go out to the whole world.